The summer is here, which means there are record high temperatures and Austin Butler smoldering at the camera. Hey there and welcome to the channel. My name is Gil and today we are reviewing The Bikeriders, written and directed by Jeff Nichols, starring Tom Hardy, Jodie Comer, and Austin Butler. After a chance encounter, headstrong Kathy is drawn to Benny, a member of a Midwestern motorcycle club called the Vandals. As the club transforms into a dangerous underworld of violence, Benny must choose between Kathy and his loyalty to the club. The Bikeriders is a photojournal that was turned into a novel that follows a Chicago motorcycle club as they grow through the ranks and become something a bit more dangerous. I was fully expecting this movie to be the 1960s version of Sons of Anarchy, but what I got here was slightly more profound and meaningful. This is a movie that harkens back to the time of Goodfellas, The Outsiders, Rebel Without a Cause. It's a little bit more slow in its delivery and a little bit more meaningful. It doesn't have as much action as you'd come to expect, and I actually kind of liked it for that. This is a slice of Americana cinema that we don't get too often nowadays. It's very slow, it's deliberate. You go to this movie looking for the character acting as opposed to the action. This is a movie that is very much a character journey for these three characters' lives. Speaking of the acting, let's start with Tom Hardy. There's a big reason why I could recommend this film to people, and it's because of the character work that's on display here from the three leads. With Tom Hardy, he plays Johnny, a character that is the motorcycle club leader of the Vandals. This is the best acting I've seen from Tom Hardy since The Revenant. He really does portray a strong character that has a lot of insecurities. As the club grows and becomes more dangerous, Johnny loses his power. He begins to see the club for what it is and what it's becoming, and for that he wants to get out. But he also needs to show that he's a strong leader, that he's there for the people that he brought in. And Tom Hardy wrestles with these ideologies very well. There's one scene in particular where he's in the bar, holding back tears over the loss of one of his motorcycle club members. Tom Hardy is fantastic here, and I like that he can go back to films like this as opposed to doing his Venom films all the time and these comic book movies. It's nice to see him break away from all those big action films and do something a little bit more subdued. Austin Butler, on the other hand, is very underwhelming in this film. It seems like he's doing this impression of James Dean where he's constantly smoldering at the camera. Sure, he has some great moments in this movie, but for the most part, he's very stoic and almost unrelatable in a lot of senses. You never get a peek behind the curtain of what the character is thinking until it's really late in the film. His work in this movie is fine, kind of pedestrian, but when the film's marketed towards him as if this is his film to carry, it actually isn't. So go in with those expectations if you are going to watch The Bikeriders. But the biggest highlight of the movie for me is Jodie Comer. This is a standout performance for her, and it's probably going to launch her into the A-list. We've seen her in work like Killing Eve, which she was fantastic in as Villanelle, but we've also seen her in smaller roles like Free Guy, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. This is her tentpole. The movie is told through her eyes. She's the one narrating. She's the one introducing us into the world of the biker gang. And it's through her that we see all the vulnerabilities of the other characters, while also understanding what it is for her to be a mother and a wife of one of these bikers. She understands the dangers and the pratfalls of this biker gang, and she knows that she needs to get Benny out. And that's the moral conundrum that she's in. Benny loves this biker gang, and she has to somehow convince him before it's too late. Jodie Comer's performance is comedic, it's heartbreaking, and it's also just very enjoyable to watch. I wouldn't be surprised to see her get an Academy Award nomination for her performance in this movie, and I definitely want to see her get more starring roles. She was fantastic in this movie. Overall, I think The Bikeriders has a lot of problems, but it's also a really good movie that I could recommend. I think for all its shortcomings, it's fine. A lot of audiences are going to walk away from this movie a bit disappointed. The resolution in this film is a little bit of a downer, and there's not a lot of action. Like I said, this is a slow burn. Go into it expecting character work more than action, and for that reason, you won't be disappointed. I really wish we could have spent more time, with Michael Shannon talking to Norman Reedus in this movie. Those little slices of life in this film are what makes this movie worth watching. There's a lot of it here, but there's also more that I wanted from it. I think that this is a fine movie to watch when it's streaming. Definitely not a movie that you have to go out of your way to watch in the theaters, and it's certainly not a movie that I'm going to buy on Blu-ray or on home video. Overall, I'm going to remember this film, but not because it's one of my favorite of the year. I think there are good performances here that will carry through to Oscar season, but overall the picture just doesn't come together the way I had hoped it would. Anchored by a stellar first act, the second and third act of this movie leave something to be desired, and for that reason, I give The Bikeriders 3.5 out of 5. Did you watch The Bikeriders this weekend? Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of it. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode. The summer is here, so there's plenty of content headed your way. Podcast episodes, reviews, etc. Also, if you're a movie buff, a video game fan, or you like to collect Mountain Dew flavors, I have a Discord channel and community that you're invited to. You could scan the QR code right here or click the link in the description down below. I want to thank you all for watching. Stay cool and go catch a movie.